How to get started coaching tennis, giving tennis lessons, starting your own club. This is how I would do it. I'm going to talk about a few different things in this video. Number one, I'm going to talk about the internet, starting a website. I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm going to talk about Google AdWords, how to create ads that work to drive traffic to your website. Then we're going to talk about picking up the phone and calling these people. And if you're really brave and you really want to get started quickly, we're going to talk about cold calling. And yes, this can make you $100,000 a year. You do the math. It's called $50 an hour times 50 hours a week. It's $100,000 a year. So here we are on my Google Ads account, and yours may look different. I'm not going to get into how this works. You're going to have to learn about Google AdWords. Go into Google AdWords and learn how to make a campaign. You can see my campaign here. It was called Hershey Tennis. And I did this back in 2012 is when I started. I did a lot more than 69 clicks, I can tell you that. But I was averaging, in a town like Hershey, I was averaging, maybe 10 cents, 20 cents per click. It wasn't, even at 90, here it says 90 cents per click for this campaign, which is definitely doable. It doesn't cost that much. I think I was doing like $30 a month. And you could do more if you want to, because you got to remember that when you're getting tennis lessons for business, if it costs you $30 or $40 to get one client, that one client could be worth $3,000 because they're coming every week for lessons. If you can convince them to come every week for lessons and pay $30 a week, you're getting a lot more than what it costs you to pay for the advertisements. And that's why this works very well for tennis. So you can see here are some of my keywords: tennis lessons, kids tennis, Hershey tennis. So you have to learn this and really work this to get lessons. And this isn't the easiest. I wouldn't say it's the easiest way to get lessons, but it's one tool that I would use, or that you could use, especially if you are more of an introvert. You're going to get a lot of emails. You're going to get a lot of people going to your website, and then you're going to have to try and convert those emails to customers. Now you're going to have to get a website, and for that you're going to need a host, a web host. And I use this web host here. It works really well. It's called InMotion Hosting, InMotionHosting.com. And you can see here, you can go into their website. I already have an account. Here it's going to talk about how much it costs, and we're looking at maybe $100, $150 a year. That's it. And you're going to want to find your domain. So you can see here, if you live in a small town like Hershey, I can type in hersheytennis.com and search that domain. You really can use any domain, but if you want to use your town's domain, if you think that helps, you can see here you can still get hersheytennis.com for $23. And I used to have this domain. I gave it up, and then it was for sale for like $1,000, and then I guess they couldn't sell it, so they gave it up too. But you can also see a town like Tulsa, Oklahoma. I can do tulsatennis.com. Tulsa's a pretty big tennis town, and you can see that's still available. So if you live in Tulsa and you want to have this website for your tennis business, in a place like Tulsa, you can almost teach year-round outside. So this is still available. You can see we could type in, maybe if we do philadelphiatennis.com, it's probably not available. Bigger cities, more likely than not, wouldn't be available. But like I said, you can use any name really. johnstennis.com. Something simple. See that? If your name is John, you can do johnstennis.com, kind of like me, or I have Angelo's Tennis. So that would be how you set up your domain. And I think this is non-negotiable. It goes along with the Google AdWords, something that you need to do in order to make this work. Now, just something else that I would do, because the internet, the Google AdWords and the website isn't the easiest thing to get started. I can tell you there's going to be a lot of people who flop on you. That's just the way it is. You have to be very persistent. You have to follow up. You have to follow up for a very long time, sometimes years, before you get them to come out to play tennis. But I would encourage you to continue to follow up, because they will eventually come out. And something that I didn't do, I didn't get their phone number. If you can get their phone number and start a conversation with them on the phone, you're more likely to get them to come out. And this is something I want to add that I would do. If I did this all over again, I would cold call. I would cold call every phone number in my area. I would try to call, if I could figure that out. How can I call every household, particularly households, but every household in my area? We go something like this. Ring, ring. Hi, my name is Angelo. I'm calling from angelostennis.com. Is there anyone in your household who would be interested in learning tennis? And then I would listen. And they're going to tell me. They might say a bunch of other things, but they're going to tell me, why, yes, I've been meaning to learn how to play tennis for a long time. And then from that point, you can tell them about your program and hopefully set up an appointment for them to come in and do an introductory tennis lesson. You could offer it for free. You could charge them. That's up to you. But you're going to get responses if you do that, because there's a lot of people out there that are thinking about taking tennis lessons. Tennis is a very popular sport, and unlike other sports, you can sell this very easily to any human being. So it could be a grandma picks up the phone and she's thinking, maybe she's not thinking about herself, but she's thinking about her grandson or her granddaughter, and now you can start to work that. Or it could be someone who wants to play pickleball, or they're thinking about pickleball. Even then, with the pickleball, you can still get them in your club with mini tennis. You could talk, once you get them on the phone, you can talk about how it's the same thing. You can do a lot with this phone that you can't do if you don't get on the phone with them. But back to the cost. If you think that this whole thing costs, just not including your time, but just what it costs to set up, a couple $100, think about what it costs for tennis certification. If you're just starting off, I'd skip the certification. This is the first thing I would do. If you have the confidence or you have the courage to do this, this is the first thing I would do to get customers, and then worry about the certification later on, because you're going to be able to get clients without certification, and the certification is going to cost far more than this. And they'll tell you that you need the certification. A lot of people will tell you need the certification first. You don't need the certification first. You need to get in the door and get on the court and start giving lessons. Then you can worry about the certification later on. And you might be thinking, well, Angelo, I don't know how to teach tennis. Well, as I talk about in this channel, starts with mini tennis and short tennis. If you can play mini tennis and short tennis, you know how to teach tennis, because 99% of these people are going to get value out of mini tennis, playing mini tennis and playing short tennis, and that's what you're going to do for the first many lessons to get them started. So even if you're not a great player, you're a 3.5 or a 3.0 or a 4.0, whatever, you can still do this, because I'm telling you now, 99% of your clients will be, or the clients that you want, are going to be mini tennis and short tennis beginner players with no sporting background whatsoever. So that's what they're going to need from you as a coach. You might be thinking to yourself, well, the website, the Google AdWords, the time it takes to call people. Let's just start with the website and the Google AdWords. You could skip that whole thing. If you can make the phone calls, you could skip that whole thing. However, if you do have that and you are making the phone calls, you can use that to give them something to look at. So when you're on the phone, you can say, hey, I'm going to text you right now. I'm going to text you my website. I'm going to text you my reviews, etc. That's going to give you credibility. That's going to only enhance your cold calls. But if you're really good on the phone, you probably don't even need the website or the Google AdWords.